Good evening, everyone. So in the last session, we discussed about the some of the method which are available inside this particular string builder. Now we'll try to continue the remaining method what we are having inside this particular string buffer class. Okay. So what are the method we identified here? Length method as well as capacity method, and we identify the ensure capacity, and we discuss about the set length method. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the this particular caret method and set caret method. These are all the some methods we identified. Now you can see, so another important method we are having append method. So this append method we discuss here. What exactly the append method is doing? It is trying to add the new string existing at the end of this particular existing string here. Okay, so this is one of the important example we need to understand here. And another one, let me try with buffer dot so get chars method. Now you can see get char method, it is having these are all the methods we are having. Okay, so we need to understand this particular method how it is going to work internally. This is one of the important example we are discussing now. Now you can see, so this is something like a source begin, source end, and a destination getting the point, and a destination begin here. Getting the point. This is one of the important. Now, if I'm going to show you the parameters here, so first one is expecting integer, second one also it is expecting integer. Like it is like a indexes from the which index onwards, from which index we need to copy here, and another one. And once we copy, this is the new array list we are going to create. So inside this particular new array list, it will try to store the data, and it is going to start from the beginning index. Okay, this is one of the important method we are having here. Okay, so this is one of the important method we are having. Now observe carefully. Now observe carefully what happens internally. If I'm going to provide the information, first we need to create a one char array. So char ch is equals to new char. I'm going to provide as a something like a 50. So after providing this particular 50, and here we need to provide this particular source begin as a 0, and the source I'm going to provide something like what is the 45 we given, right? So up to 45 I'm going to provide. So destination something like a ch, and it will try to start from this particular 0. Okay, after printing this, now what happens internally? We need to print on this particular ch here. Okay, ch is basically character array. Now if you try to print this particular ch here, how this particular character will print here? Okay, ch I'm trying to add, and here I'm trying to add this particular ch, and here I will try to print. So each character I'm going to print here, and after this each character I'm going to give some spaces here. Now if you observe carefully what happening internally, this is we need to understand here. So now you can see this is the string it is printing, whatever the string we are printing, line number 17, and this is printing, this is printing, it's because of this particular loop here. Okay, this is printing, it is because of this particular loop. So carefully observe what we are doing. The getChar method we already discussed in the string class. The same getChar method we are going to use inside this particular string buffer also. But what is the differences here? There is no differences. It is trying to start from the specified indexes onwards. Okay, so something like it is available inside the same string buffer. Now you can read. Now you can see string begin index and end index here. It is expecting the character array, and it is expecting the destination begin. And internally it is calling the superclass getChars. If I'm going to expand this, now you can understand here if it is a Latin or if it is a UTF format. Based on this, it is calling here. Okay. Now we are calling this getChars here internally. So it is calling this is a method, and based on this, it is trying to giving the it is trying to store the data into this particular inside this particular character, whatever we are passing this dst. Now you can see here we are trying to inserting dst. So this is the index is going to update each time. and whatever the value we are getting it, based on that we are converting into char. Okay, so this is the way of this particular inflate method. It is trying to add all the information inside this particular DST. DST is the type of, this is the DST, it's the type of this particular char array. Okay, this is important, we need to understand. First, we need to see the how this internally it is working here. Now, which method we call here? Which method we call here? So this is the get char method we call now, and internally we provided these are all the 4 parameters. Okay, first parameter we given as a 0, second we given as a 45, and we created a new array with help of this particular 50 size, and this is the destination from which index it needs to start. So this is the value we provided. Okay, now you can see if I'm going to show, and where it is here we are having, okay, 0 I given, 45 is the last index, because we come up with the set length as a 45. Because of that I provided as a 45. Now finally this is the array I created here, the line number 15, and the destination it is going to start with a 0. So this is the newly created array. Based on this particular newly created array, from which index onwards we want to start, the information we can provide inside this particular 0. So this is the last parameter. It will give you the from which index onwards we want to start. Okay, so this is all about the one of the important method we discussed, get chars. The same method which is available inside this particular string also. Okay, string also will do the same, but string it is having some different overloaded method. Okay, it's going to take byte related as well, but here we are having only one. It will try to find out the character information. The each character we are printing with help of this particular space. Okay, so this is we need to understand here. I'm trying to run one more time. Now you can see this is the information we are trying to print from the whatever the information we stored into this particular char. So this ch is basically character array we created, but how the character array it is insetting with help of this particular get char. So if I'm going to put a breakpoint here, you can easily understand how it is calling internally. So here I can put a breakpoint, and we'll try to start the same example. Now if you observe carefully, so it is trying to start this particular set length here. Now the get chars method we are calling. Okay, the whatever the cursor it is trying to execute, it is stopped the line number 16. Now I'm moving into the method. Internally it is calling this. Now you can see source begin. What is the source begin value? 0. And whatever the source end, 45. Okay, this is the char array we created. How many values we can store? Up to 50. Okay, 50 values we can store. Now you can see 49. 0 to 49, it is nothing but 50 values we can store. This is the size I created. Where I created this? If I go to explain here, here I created the new char and I am giving the size as a 50. Okay, so this is the way of creating this particular char array. And after this, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to provide the destination begin. It's as a 0. Now what we are doing it, so we are trying to check the some range here. So we are checking this particular range here. Okay, so this is the imported range we need to understand here. So this is the imported range we need to understand how it is working internally. Now if we observe what is the count right now, how many the values we inserted, it's like a length here. These are all the values inserted into this particular string buffer. Okay, now what I'm doing is, so I'm trying to find n values, how many values we can store. How many values we can store inside this particular n? This is giving the information something like 45, because the source I given as a 45, sorry, source end I'm giving as a 45, and this the begin we provide as a 0. So if I'm going to do the subtraction, we are getting 45. Now we are checking again, check range here. Okay, we are checking the range here. So what exactly the range is checking here? So this is important. Now you can see index out of bound exception we are going to get something if this particular condition, any condition will satisfy. Here how many conditions we are making? R condition. So totally 3 conditions we are checking here. Okay, in any one of the condition is satisfied, we are going to throw an exception. So what is an exception we are throwing here? Something like index out of bound exception we are throwing with some message here. These are all the values we are going to have here. Okay. So now if I'm going to see any exception we are going to get, nothing. I'm not getting any exception. So it is successfully, it's working. And we already identified it is the Latin format the values are storing. Now internally it is calling this. If I'm going to expand this particular method, now we are moving into inside this particular inflate. Okay, so again I'm moving inside this particular method. Now you can see, so what is the byte source we are having right now? These are all the original values. Okay, these are all the original values up to 45. Okay, up to 45 we are having the values. Now you can see 0 to 45 we are having the original length basically 57. Why we are getting the 57? 0 to 57 is something nothing but capacity we given as a, okay, the default capacity based on this particular section, the default capacity is now it is increased to 58 here. Okay, based on this how many append method we are calling, because of that the values are increased to the 58. Okay, now we are getting the original value here, and it's going to start from this, and some of we are having some conditions. Now you can see what we are doing here. So length here, what is the length here? 45. Okay, length we are having 45. So this particular loop, how many times it is going to repeat? 45 times. For each time, what we are doing here? So from here, this is the SRC, so source directory. Okay, from the source directory, we are giving the incremented value. Okay, based on this particular incremented value, we are loading some value. The value we are converting into this particular card. So whatever the value we converted into the car, we are trying to store into this particular destination. Okay, source to destination we are doing here. And another one, for each year, what we need to understand here. Okay, for each iteration, what happens internally, it will try to repeat this particular loop multiple times, and okay, so internally what we need to understand here. Now if I'm going to run this, we are trying to come up this particular character. What is the character we are having? Now if I'm going to show you the character, yes we are getting. Okay, yes we are getting. From where this particular S is coming? What is the source of value? Right now 1. Okay, from this particular source of value 116. 116 here. We are getting the 116. Now if I'm going to show you the 116, what we are having, so string. Okay, string. The particular first character, it is a S. Now if I'm going to run the second one, if I'm going to copy one more time here, if I'm going to copy one more time, we are getting the T. Okay, so second one. And if I'm going to try one more time, you will get the one more value, R. Okay, because based on this particular source of, now you can see the value now it is increased to 3. So this particular value we are trying to store into this particular destination. So if you observe carefully, if I'm going to show you the destination, 0 index location we are trying to store as a I. Why we are storing as a I? Because here I did multiple times to find out the current value. So because of that, the value is not yet initialized into this particular DST. Okay, so this particular DST. So what we need to understand, because of this, it is trying to store all the values. If I show you, this particular value, so far what we copied here, these are all the values, all the characters are trying to store here. Finally, all the character will store, and the character we are trying to print here. The characters we are trying to print here. Okay, so this is one of the important methods, something like a getChar method. So getChars method, this is the way of writing the getChars. Okay, so any questions here? Anyone having any questions regarding this getChars method? Okay, so if we don't have anything, now I'm going to provide the another important method called insert method. So we need to understand very carefully how this particular insert method it is going to work. Okay, so observe carefully. This is the one more important method we are discussing about here. Now observe buffer dot insert method. Okay, insert method basically it is a one of the overloaded method. One of the overloaded method. Why I'm calling the overload? You can see multiple times we are having the insert method, but only the difference is here. It will try to so provide the different parameters. So first one is int offset, the second parameter boolean, second one char array, sequence here, double float into long object string. Okay, so these are all the different parameters we are having. The second parameter is changing here. Now if I'm going to call this, particular information, we need to write the index information. Okay, we need to write the index information. For example, I want to insert in the 42. So the value I want to initialize as a false. I want to initialize as a false. Now, what is the return type of this particular insert method? It is trying to return the string buffer. So before initializing this, now what I will do? Here I am going to call directly here. Directly, I can call this because the buffer insert method it is trying to return the object here, string buffer object it is trying to return. Now observe carefully. So I'm going to comment at this particular loop. We need to focus on the insert method. Now what happens internally? Now you can see in the 42 index location. Okay, in the 42 index location, we initialized as a false value. So you can see we are initialized as a false value. Now another important what I will do. Another important information. What I will do here, I'm going to initialize 43 something like a double value. Okay, and here simply I will try to print this particular buffer here. Now you can see what happening internally. So here you can see it is trying to update the value. It is trying to update the value because of this particular 4. Getting the part? It is updating into the 4. So this is wrong. I need to initialize, I need to update in the 43 index. So first one it is updated in the 4. Okay. So this is the 4th index location, the value is updated. But now what I'm doing is I'm trying to modify into this particular 43. Now you can see whenever I'm trying to modify, now you can see here it is trying to update here. Okay, it is trying to update in this particular location here. So this is very important information we need to understand here. Okay, so this is all about the simple example on this particular insert method. So based on this particular location, now what we can do, we can modify the all the information here. Anyone having any questions regarding this particular insert method? Basically, we can give you the location and it's like an index number. From this particular index location, it is trying to update the value. Okay, based on this particular index location, the value it is going to update it. For example, if I'm going to provide as a 46 here, if I'm going to provide as a 46, now what happens internally, we'll try to identify this. We'll try to identify here. Now what happening internally? One second. Okay, so observe carefully what I'm doing here. If you observe here, even though if we give the 46, what happens internally? We are getting the value or not? We are getting the value. So earlier we get the value from here location Now we are getting the value here. What we need to understand here, how this particular inset is calling first. Okay, let me run the same example in the debug mode. Now I'm calling this particular getChar method. I'm trying to come out of this particular section. Let me come out of this. Okay, I'm calling the inset method. Now observe carefully, we are calling super.inset method. Okay, super class inset method it is going to call. Now again, I'm calling the super class inset. And here now you can see, here also we are calling inset method. But what we need to understand, what is the value we given? Boolean value. Now this particular Boolean value, it is trying to convert it into the string here. Getting the point? Now it is trying to converting into string. So finally, any value we are going to provide, all the values internally converting into this particular string. So once it is converted, this is the offset. Offset is nothing but in the 42 index location, we are trying to store this particular string value. Okay, even though if we give it the Boolean value, finally it is converting into string because of this particular string dot value of method. Now I'm trying to call this, we are trying to returning this particular true or false here. So this is we discussed in the last session. It's like a ternary operator we are using. Based on this particular ternary operator, we are trying to modifying the value. Okay, so this is we need to understand here. After this, what we need to understand here, I'm trying to come back this inset method. Now I'm calling the inset method. Okay, so sorry, it is coming out of this. I want to go to this inset method. I will put a breakpoint here. Okay, from here, we'll run the example one more time. Now you can see it is trying to stop at set length method. After it is completed, now I'm trying to move on to the getChar method. So once it is completed, now I'm trying to call the inset method. So finally, it is calling this particular inset method. Now you can see str. What is the str value we are getting it? Something like a false we are getting. Okay, something like a false we are getting. So how we are getting this particular false here? Because it is trying to convert it into the string format. So this offset basically 42. Now check offset value. What is the count basically we are having? 45. Okay, inside the 45 and this set we are checking. So if I'm going to open this, what happening internally? Offset less than 0 or offset is greater than length. Okay, this particular offset whatever we are providing, it is not less than to 0. This condition fail, and offset is not a big value of this particular length. Length right now we are having 45, offset we are having 42. Okay, so this condition will not satisfy. Now you can see simply we are coming out, so it is not going to throw any error. Okay, if you are trying to give the first one, it should get an error. The first one, it should get an error. After 46, if you give something, it should get an error. Now str is null? No, it is not null. Now you can see we are coming out of this. What is the length we are having? Something like 5. Why we are getting the 5? Because you can count the all the characters here. You can count all the characters F A L S C. Okay, this particular all the characters it will come as a 5 here. Okay, this is the length we are getting. And after this, now if we observe carefully, what we are doing is we are trying to call the ensure capacity internal. So morning also we discussed this. This is very important to the method we are discussing. From any location, this particular method we are calling. Okay, any location, this method we are calling. Now, if I'm going to expand this, we need to understand what is the minimum capacity now? 50. Okay, because of this particular 50, what we need to understand here, the capacity is now changing here. So earlier it is basically what we need to understand here. 48 here. Okay, now what we are doing is we are trying to making as a 50. So you can check this particular coder. Okay, you can check this particular coder and load capacity value. How much we are having? 58. This is the original capacity. And what is the minimum capacity we are having? 50. So if you see minimum capacity minus old capacity, we are going to get minus 8 here. Whenever we are getting the minus 8, it is not the greater than 0. So because of this, what happening internally? It is not satisfying the condition. Minus 8 we are getting. So the whole condition, if I'm going to check this, it is false here. Whenever it is false, what happening internally? We are not going to create any new array. Okay, the byte array we are not creating. So just we are coming out of this. So because the condition is not yet satisfied. After this, what we need to understand here, shift operation. Okay, whenever we are calling this particular insert method internally, it's trying to do the some shift operations here. If I'm going to show you the how the shift operations are doing here. Okay, you can see the system dot array copy. Okay, system dot array copy. Because of this, what happening internally? Now it will trying to modifying the value. Now you can see what is the original value we are having. What is the original value we are having? Now you can see. So 40, only one value we are having. 44 we are having. Remaining we are having zeros. So we need to understand how this particular data it is going to update it. So 39, 0, 40 some value we are having, and 41, 42, 43. These are all the values are 0. Okay, let me run this. After running this system dot array copy, I'm going to expand this. Now you will understand how this particular value is updated here. Any changes you are able to see? 39, 0, 41 and all zeros. For 49, if you see we are getting 84. Okay, 44 we are getting 84 and 49 also we are getting 84. But remaining all are zeros. Okay, once I come out of this, now you can see we are increasing this particular length here. The length right now, what is the length right now? 50. Earlier it is 45. So because of the particular 5 characters, the boolean value, the 5 characters are added into this particular list. Now it is updated as a 50. Now finally, we are trying to call one more method, put a string at. So which location we are trying to insert here? Inside the 42, we are trying to add this particular str. So if I'm going to expand this, now here index we are having 42. This particular string we are having false here. Okay, now this value we are going to insert here. So observe carefully what we are doing is we are calling this particular str.getBytes. So which method we are calling? String related method. Str basically it is a string. Now just now we discussed about the getBytes method. Sorry, here what is the method? GetCats. Yeah, getCats we discussed here. But right now we are discussing about the getBytes here. So getBytes method is expecting 3 parameter. Okay, value and index and so it is trying to do the coder. Now observe inside this particular value the 42 how it is going to modify. So again I'm trying to show you the same 45 42. Now you can see 41 42, these are all the zeros. 44 we are having the 84 value. So once I come out of this particular method, if I expand the same the byte array, you will understand the value. Okay, now you can see. So 42, 102, 43, 44, 45, 46. Okay, whatever the 44 we are having 84 value, no longer the 84 value is not available. Okay, because it is replaced here. From 42, the values are inserted. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So some from 42 to 46, all the values are inserted here. Now what you understand here, whenever we are using this particular insert method based on the index location, from the index location it is trying to modify the value. Okay, it is trying to modify the value. Like if any old values we are going to have, the old values are now it is going to replace it with new values. So because of this, So it is trying to replacing the value. Okay, so finally we identified this particular get chars here. So this is returning the current object here. Now you can see the current object it is returning here. Finally, we are returning this particular insert here. Okay. And here again I'm checking the 46. So even I'm checking the 46, what is the length right now we are having? 50. Okay, 50 length. Because of this, we are not getting any error. Because of this, I'm not getting any error. For example, if I'm going to insert this as a first one, if I'm going to insert this as a first one, now we'll see how it is going to work here. Now you can see we are getting an error. So 46 less than 45. Okay, length we are having 45. We are trying to inserting into the 46 location. So it is giving me an error. But first we inserted 42. Because of this particular 42, what happens internally? The length is increased here. The particular length now it is increased to 50. So when it is increased to 50, what happens internally? What happens internally? We can easily insert this particular 46 also. Because of that, we could not get an error. But right now, the length in here we can see 45 we are having, but I'm trying to insert the value in the 46 index location. So this is not at all matching it. Okay, this is not at all matching it. This is one of the important information we need to understand here. Okay, so any questions regarding this particular insert method?
సార్ 15 to 18 ఒకసారి చెప్తారా సార్? 15 to 18 లైన్.
ఓకే, 50 బేసిక్ ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నాను, నేను ఒక క్యారెక్టర్ అరే క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాను, సైజ్ 50. సో ఈ సైజ్ 50 ఏం చేస్తా అంటే అప్ టు 50 ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఈ క్యారెక్టర్ అరేలో మనం స్టోర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, ఎందుకు నేను 50 తీసుకున్నానంటే ఇక్కడ మనం ఆల్రెడీ బఫర్ లెంత్ 45 ఇచ్చాను. ఇక్కడ మన స్ట్రింగ్ బఫర్ ఈ అపెండ్ ద్వారా మనకు ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఒక 40 వరకు మనం క్రియేట్ చేసాము. ద సైజ్ 40 వరకు క్రియేట్ చేసాము. సో దానికోసం నేను ఇక్కడ 50 పెట్టాను. సో ఎందుకంటే బఫర్కి ఒక 10 ఇండెక్సెస్ బఫర్గా క్రియేట్ చేసి 50 పెట్టాను. అండ్ ఎప్పుడైతే నేను గెట్ క్యార్ మెథడ్ కాల్ చేస్తున్నానో ఇంటర్నల్గా దీంట్లో ఉన్న వాల్యూస్, ఈ బఫర్లో ఉన్న ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఈ క్యారెక్టర్ అరేలోకి స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. అంటే ఒక కాపీ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం అంటే ఈ బఫర్లో ఉన్న వాల్యూస్ని ఈ క్యారెక్టర్ అరేలోకి స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాను. ఓకే, సో ద సేమ్ ఆ క్యారెక్టర్ అరేని నేను ఇక్కడ ప్రింట్ చేశాను ఎర్లియర్గా. ఇక్కడ నువ్వు చూస్తే లూప్ రాశాను, ఇక్కడ ఫర్ ఈచ్ లూప్ రాశాను. సో సిహెచ్ అనేది is reference variable of this particular new char. So it is holding the 50 elements here, and so I am trying to repeating one by one, and this is the each character it is going to store ch here. ఓకే, ఇది ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో దాని తర్వాత ఏం చేశానంటే ఇన్సెట్ మెథడ్ కాల్ చేస్తున్నాను. సో ఇన్సెట్ మెథడ్ బేసికలీ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే సేమ్ ఇలాగే సో ఇక్కడ గెట్ క్యార్ మెథడ్. సో గెట్ క్యార్ అనే మెథడ్ బేసికలీగా సింగిల్ క్యారెక్టర్ని రిప్లేస్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సింగిల్ క్యారెక్టర్ని రిప్లేస్ చేస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ మనం ప్రొవైడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇక్కడ డబుల్ ఇస్తున్నాను, ఎంత ఉంది ఇక్కడ నేను ఫ్లోట్ బులియన్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చాను. అండ్ నౌ యూ కెన్ గివ్ యూ ద స్ట్రింగ్ ఆల్సో బికాస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద ఓవర్లోడెడ్ మెథడ్. సో ఇన్సెట్ ఈస్ ద overloaded method, but this get set char set method is only one method. It is trying to take the index as well as first character. Whatever the character we want to replace, it is going to replace here. Okay, this is important here. The differences between set char and insert method. Okay, so let me go to this particular string buffer. Okay, now you can see only set caret method we are having only one method. It is internally expecting as a int parameter and carrier. Okay, and char. And another one what we need to understand here, something like insert method. Now you can see these many insert method. So here first one it is expecting int to char array int comma int. Okay, so second one is int comma object, third one int comma string, fourth one int comma char array, something like these are all the overloaded method. Because of this, what happening internally, only not only this particular character, we are going to insert multiple values, like multiple data type values here. Okay, so this is one of the important example we need to understand here. Okay, so after this, what I did here, I'm trying to call the insert method, I'm trying to initializing the value. So before I'm trying to give this particular 42, whenever I'm trying to give as a 46, what happened internally? Set a length here. What is the current length we are having? 45. So whenever the length is 45, we cannot insert the value in the after length here. So within the length only we need to initialize the values, like we can modify the values. Okay, and even though the capacity we are having 48, even though the capacity we are having 48, 58 here, now we cannot go for the 46 here, because up to the 45, up to the 45 only we are having the original values here. From 46 to 57 we are having zero values, like default values we are having. So now whenever we are using this particular set caret method and insert method, both method basically it will perform within the length here. Within the length only this particular value set is going to perform. Because of that, now I am getting an error, the line number 17 method. Okay, so this is we identified here. Now you can see this particular error. Offset value we given as a 46, but the length we are having 45. So you cannot insert more than the particular given length here, whatever the current length we are having. Okay, this is all about the one of the important method called insert method. Now I will move on to the reverse method. Okay, now I will move on to the reverse method. So this is very simple method. It will try to reverse all the characters here. It will try to reverse all the characters here. So directly I can print inside this. So directly I can print inside this particular println statement here. Now you can see, okay, here we cannot use this. So I am trying to comment out this. I'm trying to comment out the 46 one. We cannot insert the values. Now you can see all the values are now it is reverse format. So here you can see the original format we already identified in the earlier example. So this particular example, now you can see whatever the character we are having, now it is coming as a reverse format here. Okay, if I want to see this particular reverse method, how it is calling, so super dot reverse method. Now you can see they are calling the loop here. Okay, they are trying to call this particular loop and they are converting internally. They are trying to converting internally in the particular loop here. Okay, so this is the one of the important method we need to understand how this particular reverse method. Any questions on this? Any questions on this particular reverse method? Now you can see they're trying to do the value j is equals to n minus 1, j greater than or equal to 0, and j minus minus. So something like all the values are they are replacing like this here. Whatever the values we provided here, all the values they are trying to replace with this particular for loop here. Okay, this is all about the one of the important method, the reverse method. And another method, delete and delete caret. Okay, so delete and delete caret. So first we'll try to identify the delete caret method. Later we'll move on to the delete method. So now you can see buffer dot delete caret. So whenever I want to delete this particular caret method, now I'm trying to providing the index here. Okay, I'm trying to providing this particular 44. Whenever I'm trying to providing this particular 44, what happens internally? The 44 character in the 44 index location, whatever the character we are having, the specified character it is going to delete it here. Okay, now you can see now what happens internally. So FA LSE, so L is not available here. Whatever the L we have inside this particular false, the false is deleted here. Okay. So this is the important one, delete caret. Delete caret basically you can specify the index location, it will delete. So if you have go to this particular method, now you can easily understand how it is calling. So first they are checking the index. Whatever the value we are giving this particular index, it should be within the range here. It should be within the range, and based on this particular shift operation, so it will try to come up with all the values here. Okay, it will try to come up with all the values here. This is important method we need to understand. Shift operation basically how it will look like. So for example, I'm having 10 values. So 0, 1. So something we are having some values. Now I'm trying to delete this particular second. Okay, whenever I'm trying to delete this particular second value, what happens internally? So third value will become second, fourth value will become third, and fifth value will become fourth here. So some way it will try to perform all the operations like this here. Okay, this is important here. So this is something like the shift operation will work internally. Okay, the shift operations is going to work internally, and now you can see we are trying to decrease the count minus. Okay, whatever the length we are having, the length also now it is decreased here. Whenever we are calling this particular delete caret method. So here we are using the post decrement operator. You can see the line number 918. What we are doing here, we are trying to decrease the post decrement operator here. Okay, important method we are discussing here. Now observe carefully. After this particular delete caret, now I am going to write the delete method. So this particular delete method is expecting two parameters. So within the range, whatever the range we are having, within the range, it is trying to delete the value. I want to delete 40 to something like 57. Okay, in the 40 to 57 range. So between this particular range, whatever the value we are having, I'm trying to delete all the values. Now you can see all the values are deleted here. So string buffer, append, and do final append. So far whatever we added here up to here, and this L and T, later we insert the 42 false. Okay, all the values are deleted because of this particular range here. Because of this particular range, now all the values are deleted. So this is the differences between two methods, delete caret and delete method. Okay, so any questions here?
సార్ మధ్యలో పూర్ కనెక్షన్ అయిపోయింది సార్, అది ఒకసారి చెప్తారా సార్?
ఓకే, ఏంది నీ డౌట్ చెప్పు. ఇదేనా ఇన్సెట్ మెథడేనా?
ఎస్ సార్.
ఓకే, ఇక్కడ కేర్ఫుల్గా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయి. ఈ ఇన్సెట్ మెథడ్ నేను ఏం చేస్తున్నానంటే 42 అని ఇచ్చాను. ఓకే, 42 బదులు ఇక్కడ చెక్ చేసుకుంటే 46 ఇచ్చాను. 46 ఇచ్చే ముందు మనకి ఇక్కడ సెట్ లెంత్ అనే ఒక మెథడ్ కాల్ చేసాము. దాంట్లో ఎక్స్ప్లిసిట్గా నేను లెంత్ సెట్ చేశాను 45 అని. ఓకే, సో ఎప్పుడైతే లెంత్ నేను 45 సెట్ చేశానో, ఇంటర్నల్గా ఈ మెథడ్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే చెక్ చేసుకుంటుంది ఏంది లెంత్తో ఒక కండిషన్. ఇక్కడ చూస్తే ఈ మెథడ్లో చెక్ ఆఫ్ సెట్ అని ఇక్కడ ఉంది. కౌంట్ ఏంటి? కౌంట్ అనేది బేసిక్గా లెంత్ ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, మనం పాస్ చేసింది ఎంత? 46 ఇక్కడ పాస్ చేశాను. ఈ కౌంట్ అనేది 45 ఉంది. సో ఎప్పుడైతే 45, 46 పాస్ చేశానో, ఇక్కడ ఇది 46 అవుతుంది, ఇది 45 అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సెకండ్ పారామీటర్ కౌంట్, ఫస్ట్ పారామీటర్ ఆఫ్సెట్. ఎప్పుడైతే ఆఫ్సెట్ అనే వాల్యూ నేను ఎక్కిచ్చానో, ఇక్కడ గ్రేటర్ దెన్ ఆపరేటర్ వాడుతున్నామో, ఈ ఆపరేటర్ ఈ కండిషన్ సాటిస్ఫై అవుతుంది, మనకి ఇక్కడ ఎక్సెప్షన్ వస్తుంది. ఓకే, సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వీఆర్ గెటింగ్ అన్ ఎక్సెప్షన్. అండ్ తర్వాత ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నానంటే, ఈ ఎక్సెప్షన్ రాకపోతే ఇక్కడ నేను మళ్ళీ చెక్ చేసుకుంటున్నాను ఎన్ష్యూర్ కెపాసిటీ, అంటే లెంత్ బేస్ చేసుకొని మళ్ళీ ఏమైనా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలనా లేదా అని చెక్ చేసుకుంటున్నాను. సో దాని తర్వాత ఇక్కడ షిఫ్ట్ ఆపరేషన్స్ అండ్ this particular method put string at. So this particular put string at method based on this particular index location offset. Offset basically it is a index location, and based on this particular index location the value it is going to set here. Okay, So this is all about the one of the important method. Now you can see, so we discuss about the substring method inside the string. The same substring method it is going to use in our string buffer also. Okay, so this is we discuss about the delete and delete character method. Now finally, I'm trying to call buffer dot substring method. Now you can see substring it is having the two methods. First one is expecting only one parameter. Second one it is expecting two parameters. So whenever we are providing the two parameters, it is something nothing but between the range here. Okay, between the range, whatever the value we are having, so those values we are going to insert here. Okay, so between the range, those values we are going to copy and we are going to create a new string buffer and we'll try to insert all the values here. So first I'm trying to use the first one. I'm trying to give index location something like 35. Okay, from the 35, I'm trying to copying into another string. If I'm going to print this particular substring method using this particular println, now you'll understand how this particular string buffer will work here. Now you can see. Now you can see this is the PEND. Okay, so this is the substring we are having 35. Because of this particular 35, what happening internally? So from 35 index location and at the end of this particular values, it is trying to copy. So 35 to 40, whatever we are having, these are all the four. Okay, so these are all this particular four character and some space. These are all the four characters and some space it is copied here. And it is trying to create it one more string buffer object here. So this is the substring basically, it is trying to return the string here. Okay, substring method internally it is trying to return the string. The string here I'm trying to print here. Okay, using this particular substring method, now what we can do? So we can copy the range of values. For example, here we are having some range of values here, something like around 10 or 15 values. Okay, I want to copy only this particular values. I want to copy only this particular values. We can specify the starting index location something like 35 and it will copy the up to 40. Okay, so if we want to copy some middle values, if you want to copy middle values, so starting index we need to provide and end index also we need to provide so that we can find out the between the values. So that we can find out the between the values. Okay, this is important here. And if I want to find out the between values, now what I will do, I'm going to use the one more substring method. We can provide the two parameters. Okay, but observe carefully. This is the string buffer object we are having. And if we want to copy first few of characters or middle characters or end of the character, anything, but this will work based on the indexes. What is the range we are going to provide based on the indexes, it will try to work on this. Okay, this is important, we need to understand. Now another important information what we need to provide here. So one more method what we are having here. So let's observe carefully. Another substring here I'm trying to call, and here I'm going to provide 20. So 22 something like 35. Okay, the second one I'm using is 22, 35 I'm passing. Now you can see, so between this particular 22, 35, this is the between string buffer object. Okay, this is the between string buffer object we are getting it, and this is all about the string particular message we can identify here. Okay, so this is all about the substring method we are having. It is a overloaded method. Now internally it is expecting the two parameter. First one we can provide only the start index, and the second one method it is going to give you the start index as well as end index. Okay, any questions on this particular substring method?
సార్ 18 బదులు ఇఫ్ కండిషన్స్ వాడచ్చా సార్ బఫర్ బదులు?
ఇక్కడ వాడడానికి రాదు, ఇది ఆబ్జెక్ట్. ఇక్కడ నేను ఇక్కడ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాను కదా. ఇక్కడ కండిషన్ ఎప్పుడు వాడతామంటే బేసిక్గా సంథింగ్ ఇన్సర్ట్ మెథడ్ ఏదైతే వాల్యూ రిటర్న్ చేస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఇంత మీకు ఇక్కడ చూపించా కదా సంథింగ్ ఇక్కడ. సో ఇలాంటి కేసులో ఇక్కడ చూసుకుంటే ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ ఎందుకు వాడుతున్నాను, ఇక్కడ ఒక ఇంటర్నల్గా ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ రాశాను. ఏమంటే ఆఫ్సెట్ వచ్చి ఈ ఆఫ్సెట్ అనే వాల్యూ 0 కన్నా తక్కువ ఉంటే ఆర్ ఆఫ్సెట్ వాల్యూ లెంత్ కన్నా ఎక్కువ ఉంటే, ఓకే. సో ఇలాంటి కేసెస్లో మన కండిషన్స్ వాడతాము. సో ఇక్కడ ఇంకొక కండిషన్ ఉంది. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఇంకొక కండిషన్ ఉంది. ఈ కేసులో మనం ఇలా వాడతాం. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ద పర్టిక్యులర్ replace method we identified, substring method. Okay, so this is all about the another important example we discuss here, and I'm not going to cover the string builder. Why I'm not cover the string builder? Because if you see any method inside this particular string buffer, any method inside this particular string buffer, now if you see, so some of the method like this is the synchronized method, okay, and this insert is not the synchronized method. So another method index of is also synchronized. Most of the method, okay, most of the method whatever we discuss inside this particular string buffer, all the methods are having synchronized here. Okay, same method we can find inside this particular string builder also, but it does not contain any synchronized keyword. Only the difference here, the string builder class cannot contain the synchronized information, but string buffer can contain the synchronization information. Okay, so this is only the differences between these two classes. So okay, string builder. If I'm going to expand this particular string builder, now you can see the index of method I'm going to open. Now you can identify internally it is not taking any, internally it is not taking any values here. The synchronized keyword, it is not taking any synchronized keyword. This is very, very important here. Okay, so this is, we need to understand very information regarding this particular differences. So far what we are having, string buffer as well as string builder. Any questions? So tomorrow morning we are going to discuss one of the important concept called collection framework. Okay, so this is the last concept we are going to discuss here, and first we'll discuss about the interfaces, later we'll discuss about the implementation classes. Okay, if you don't have anything, so try to join the tomorrow same 7 a.m. Okay, this is important session we are going to discuss here. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Close